Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Managing in a VUCA World webinar. This webinar is part of the Managers in Action program, and we're happy to have all of you on the line with us this morning. We'll start with the introductions. It's very nice to meet you. My name is Maya Yamini. I'm a senior organizational consultant at NG Group. We're a global consulting firm working with NICE for a few years. I will be facilitating this session. And with me in the room is your very own Maya Talmagen, OD and Social Responsibility Specialist, who will be hosting the session. And I want to start off by thanking Maya and Rob Kimmons, your OD Director, for the great partnership and enabling this webinar to take place. So we'll start with a short orientation. I know you're familiar with WebEx, but maybe not so much for training purposes. So the first thing I want to say, this will not be a lecture, but an interactive session. Your participation and contribution is critical to the success, so certain parts in the session I'll ask you to join in, to contribute on the chat, on the poll, on the whiteboard. You're muted because there are a lot of you on the line, but we want to hear your opinion, so you're welcome to send questions and comments. If you want something answered directly, please send it to Maya Talmagen so we can separate it from the rest of the chat. And all the questions will be answered at the end. If you want to send something for everyone to see, of course, send to everyone. So during the next hour or so, we'll learn what VUCA is, what are the managerial challenges that characterize VUCA environment, and talk about some very actionable tips that you can apply to overcome some of these challenges and really thrive in a VUCA environment. I want to just dive straight in to explain what VUCA is. So VUCA is an acronym used to describe an environment that's characterized by volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And we're going to explain each of these elements. The notion of VUCA was coined by the U.S. Army War College to describe the new reality after the Cold War, but today it's widely used in the business world to describe the environment most of us operate in, whether inside the organization or in the markets. And let's break down this acronym to its elements to try to better understand this complex concept. So actually, in preparation for this workshop, I found numerous definitions for VUCA and for its elements, and I recommend you to further search for yourselves after the workshop to find the definition which makes the most sense for you. But having said that, I think this variety of views is a good modeling of what VUCA is because it's complex and having many possible interpretations for the same thing. So volatility, the dictionary definition of volatile is likely to change in a very sudden or extreme way, or to become dangerous or out of control. So in an environment that's volatile, we'll see an increase in 4 dimensions of the changes that we face. It's in the nature and type of the change, in the speed, in the volume, and in the scale. So for example, in a volatile market, the prices of commodities can rise or fall considerably in a short period of time, and the direction of a trend can reverse suddenly. So we're talking about frequent, rapid, significant change. I think the modern world is full of change, and very little of it is linear. We all sense that. So uncertainty. In the dictionary, again, it's something that's doubtful or unknown, a state of having limited knowledge where it's impossible to exactly describe existing state, future outcome, or more than one possible outcome. So as a result of volatility, we can find ourselves facing an unclear present situation and difficulty to use the past issues and events as predictors of future outcome. When we're unable to predict, we're subject to the prospect of surprise. Okay, complexity. So I think this is the more widely known of the 4 elements, but in the definition, complexity describes a behavior of a system or model whose components interact in multiple ways to follow different rules, meaning there's no reasonable higher-end structure to define the various possible interactions. So it's generally used to characterize something with many parts where those parts interact with each other in multiple ways, and there's a higher emergence out of this interaction. So for us, it means multiple key decision factors, mitigating factors involved in a problem or in a situation, and there's no clear connection between cause and effect. We can give the example of a butterfly effect, where you never know, it starts somewhere and you're not sure where this ends. So, and ambiguity, again, the dictionary definition is something that doesn't have a single clear meaning. It can be understood in more than one possible way. So the cause and the who, what, where, how behind things are unclear, hard to tell. And it's a growing presence of multiple meanings within the conditions that surround us. It's a hazy, and it's basically a result of all the rest. When you're combining volatility, uncertainty, and complexity, your outlook really becomes hazy and foggy. And that's, the basic explanation of this concept of VUCA. It's really a complex one, so we'll be giving more examples to clarify.